The warp, an ever-shifting realm of raw emotion, boundless energy, and infinite possibilities. To the untrained mind, it is an incomprehensible sea of madness, yet within its chaos lies power beyond mortal comprehension. In the immaterium, emotions and thoughts manifest as tangible forces, giving rise to entities both terrifying and divine. Among these entities stand the Greater Daemons, majestic, horrifying avatars of the Chaos God's will. These beings are not merely servants. They are extensions of the gods themselves, embodiments of their ideologies, strengths, and insatiable desires. But how does chaos, a force defined by freedom, anarchy, and rebellion, maintain control over such titanic and unpredictable creatures? What prevents these demons, brimming with power and ambition, from rebelling against their creators or turning against each other in an endless struggle for dominance? This question lies at the heart of chaos's paradoxical nature, where absolute freedom coexists with ironclad hierarchies and brutal order. To understand the mechanics of control within chaos, one must first appreciate the nature of the Greater Daemons themselves. These entities are not like mortal leaders or generals. They do not adhere to conventional chains of command or organizational structures. Instead, their loyalty and servitude are tied to the fundamental essence of their being. A bloodthirster serves Khorne because it is rage incarnate, just as a keeper of secrets is seduced by Slaaneş's endless promise of perfection and excess. This intrinsic connection binds them to their masters, yet it also leaves room for intrigue, manipulation, and power struggles that define their existence. Greater Daemons are manifestations of pure warp energy shaped by the will of their respective gods. A Lord of Change, for instance, is a swirling maelstrom of Tzeentch's cunning and scheming, while a Great Unclean One is a grotesque yet strangely jovial embodiment of Nurgle's decay and renewal. These creatures are vast reservoirs of raw power, capable of tearing apart reality itself to fulfill their god's bidding. Yet with such immense strength comes the challenge of restraint. For the Chaos Gods, their Greater Daemons are both invaluable assets and potential threats, a delicate balance that must be maintained through a combination of binding rituals, rewards, and punishment. The key to this control lies in the nature of chaos itself. The Chaos Gods are not merely powerful entities. They are the warp's primal forces, omnipresent and all-encompassing. Their will is absolute within their domains, and they can reshape their demonic servants as easily as a sculptor molds clay. Yet even in this omnipotence, there are limits. The Chaos Gods are bound by the essence of their being, unable to act outside their nature. Khorne cannot scheme like Tzeentch, nor can Slaaneş revel in decay like Nurgle. These limitations create a unique dynamic where the gods must rely on their demonic servants to enact their will, granting these entities a degree of agency and independence that can be both an asset and a liability. The relationship between a Chaos God and their Greater Daemons is one of mutual necessity and perpetual tension. For the Greater Daemons, their existence is tied to their god's power and favor. Without the patronage of their deity, they would be nothing more than formless warp energy, lost in the immaterium's endless turbulence. Yet with favor comes the constant expectation of obedience and success, a burden that can lead to internal conflict and rebellion. In the mortal realm, this dynamic is further complicated by the influence of mortal cults and champions who often summon and bind Greater Daemons to their service. These mortals, though insignificant compared to the demons they command, can act as intermediaries, manipulating the chaotic energies of the warp to achieve their own ends. For a Greater Daemon, such servitude is both an opportunity and a humiliation, a chance to spread their god's influence, but also a reminder of their own limitations. The story of how chaos controls its Greater Daemons is not merely one of power and domination. It is a tale of intricate relationships, unbreakable bonds, and the eternal struggle between freedom and servitude. As we delve deeper into this complex web, we will uncover the key players, the methods of control, and the consequences of failure, revealing the dark and fascinating truths behind one of Warhammer 40k's most enigmatic forces. In this exploration, we shall journey into the heart of the warp, where nothing is as it seems, and power is both a gift and a curse. The question remains, can chaos truly control its creations, or is it merely riding the edge of an eternal storm, forever one misstep away from annihilation? The key players in the control of Greater Daemons represent a complex hierarchy that bridges the Chaos Gods, their chosen servants, and mortal agents. This intricate web of influence ensures that the titanic power of Greater Daemons remains tethered to the broader goals of chaos. Each participant in this structure contributes in a distinct way, balancing the inherent anarchy of the warp with the need for order and coordination. At the pinnacle of this hierarchy are the Chaos Gods themselves, Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. These deities are the ultimate sources of authority and power, embodying the primal forces of the Immaterium. Each Chaos God imposes their distinct ideology on their realm, creating environments that reflect their desires. Khorne's domain is a battlefield drenched in blood and rage, while Tzeentch's is an endless maze of shifting schemes. These environments not only define their Greater Daemons, but also serve as tools of control. A Greater Daemon is an extension of its god, and its very essence is shaped by the deity's will. This fundamental connection ensures loyalty at the deepest level, as these demons cannot exist independently of their creators. Beneath the chaos, gods are the Greater Daemons themselves, beings of immense power and complexity. Though they are the focus of this exploration, their role within the hierarchy deserves emphasis. Greater Daemons act as generals, heralds, and champions of their respective gods, executing plans with terrifying precision. While they are bound to their gods, they possess distinct personalities and motivations, often vying for dominance among themselves. This internal competition serves a dual purpose. It sharpens their effectiveness and prevents any single demon from gaining too much independent power. Rivalries are not a sign of weakness, but a deliberate aspect of chaos, ensuring that ambition fuels their actions while keeping them in check. Mortals also play a significant role in the control of Greater Daemons. Chaos cults, warbands, and sorcerers act as intermediaries, facilitating the interaction between the warp and the material universe. These mortal agents are often instrumental in summoning and binding Greater Daemons, using complex rituals and sacrifices to anchor these entities in reality. Such mortals are not mere tools. They are active participants in the schemes of chaos, wielding influence that can shape the behavior and actions of demons. Some cult leaders and sorcerers even forge pacts with Greater Daemons, trading servitude for power. These alliances are fraught with tension, as the mortal's ambition often clashes with the demon's disdain for anything less than divine. The Chaos Space Marines also play a crucial part in this dynamic. Veterans of the Long War and champions of the Dark Gods, they possess the strength and knowledge to summon and command Greater Daemons. These warriors often act as conduits for the demon's influence, carrying out their will in battle while maintaining a tenuous control over their power. The relationship between a Chaos Space Marine and a Greater Daemon is one of mutual respect and mistrust. While the Marine benefits from the demon's strength, they must constantly guard against its attempts to dominate or betray them. Within the warp itself, the lesser demons form a vast and chaotic hierarchy that supports and constrains the Greater Daemons. These lesser entities serve as soldiers, scouts, and messengers, carrying out the will of their masters and gods. While they lack the power and autonomy of Greater Daemons, their sheer numbers and collective presence exert a form of pressure that reinforces the existing order. A Greater Daemon that fails to maintain its authority over its subordinates risks being overwhelmed by rebellion or usurpation. This dynamic ensures that even the most powerful demons must remain vigilant and proactive in their pursuit of dominance. There are also unique entities within Chaos that occupy a liminal space between the gods and their demons. These beings, often referred to as demon princes or exalted champions, have ascended from mortal origins to achieve a form of divinity. Their dual nature allows them to act as both servants and intermediaries, bridging the gap between the gods and the material universe. Demon princes wield considerable power and influence, often rivaling that of greater demons. However, their mortal origins make them unpredictable, and their ambitions can lead to conflicts with the very forces they serve. Finally, the warp itself must be considered a participant in this structure. As a realm of raw emotion and energy, the warp shapes and constrains the behavior of all its inhabitants. Its chaotic nature imposes a form of balance, preventing any single entity from achieving unchecked dominance. The unpredictable tides of the immaterium ensure that even the most powerful greater demon cannot act with complete impunity. This inherent instability is both a source of strength and a limitation, shaping the relationships and power dynamics within chaos. In examining these key players, it becomes clear that the control of greater demons is not a simple matter of dominance or coercion. It is a dynamic and multifaceted system, relying on a delicate balance of power, loyalty, and manipulation. Each participant, from the chaos gods to the lowliest mortal cultist, contributes to this structure, ensuring that the titanic power of greater demons serves the broader goals of chaos rather than their own ambitions. This intricate web of relationships and hierarchies underscores the paradoxical nature of chaos, where freedom and control coexist in a perpetual state of tension. The roots of how chaos exerts control over its greater demons trace back to the very creation of the immaterium and the birth of the chaos gods themselves. In the earliest moments of existence, before the material universe had fully coalesced, the immaterium existed as a raw, formless expanse of psychic energy. It was a reflection of the emotions, thoughts, and desires of mortal beings, and as those beings multiplied and evolved, so too did the warp grow in complexity and intensity. This psychic realm, free of the physical constraints of reality, began to manifest sentient entities, embodiments of the most powerful collective emotions. Over countless millennia, the chaos gods emerged, forged by the vast, overlapping currents of mortal emotion. Rage, ambition, despair, and excess took form as Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. Yet their creation was not a simple act of will. It was a reaction to the cumulative psychic resonance of all living beings. As the gods took shape, they drew energy from the emotions that birthed them, but they also needed tools and intermediaries to enact their will. Thus, the greater demons were born, not as individuals with independent origins, but as extensions of their gods, shaped by the immaterium and bound to the ideologies they represented. The process of controlling these entities began with necessity. The chaos gods, while immensely powerful, could not operate freely within the material universe. The barrier between the warp and real space, known as the Veil, acted as both a protector for the material world and a limitation for the gods. Direct interference was rare, requiring massive breaches or intense concentrations of psychic energy. Greater demons, being more focused and localized manifestations of the gods' will, served as the perfect solution. These entities could be summoned into real space to act as generals, conquerors, or avatars, spreading their god's influence without requiring the deities themselves to cross the veil. However, the creation of such powerful beings introduced risks. The raw ambition and destructive potential inherent to greater demons posed a challenge even to the chaos gods. To mitigate this, the gods established intrinsic mechanisms of control. Each greater demon is a distilled representation of its god's nature, incapable of fully acting outside those parameters. A bloodthirster, for example, is driven by unrelenting rage and bloodlust, aligning it perfectly with Khorne's desires, but limiting its capacity for independent thought or rebellion against its creator. This intrinsic alignment forms the first and most fundamental layer of control. The Great Crusade and the subsequent Horus Heresy further shaped the dynamic between chaos and its demons. As humanity expanded across the galaxy, their collective psychic resonance grew exponentially, fueling the power of the warp. This increase in energy intensified the gods' influence, allowing them to forge new demons and strengthen their grip on existing ones. During this period, the summoning of demons became more frequent, with mortal sorcerers and cults learning to channel warp energy into the material plane. These summoning rituals, often involving blood sacrifices or intricate incantations, became critical tools in controlling greater demons. By binding these entities through ritualistic constraints, mortals created an additional layer of control, one that served both their own ambitions and the gods' broader schemes. Despite these mechanisms, the inherent volatility of chaos ensured that no control could be absolute. The nature of the warp itself, ever-shifting and unpredictable, meant that even the most loyal greater demon could act in ways that defied its creator's immediate intentions. This unpredictability became both a strength and a weakness for chaos. On one hand, it allowed for adaptability and creativity in pursuing domination. On the other, it demanded constant vigilance and intervention to prevent catastrophic rebellions or unintended consequences. The cultural and spiritual development of mortals also played a significant role. As mortals sought power, knowledge, or revenge, they turned to the warp for answers, often forming pacts with greater demons. These pacts created a mutual dependency. Mortals gained access to unimaginable power, while demons secured a foothold in the material world. However, this relationship also introduced an additional layer of control. Mortals, though insignificant compared to demons, could manipulate their summoning rituals to bind or constrain these entities, forcing them to act within strict parameters. This gave rise to a complex dynamic, where the relationship between mortal summoners and demons became one of delicate negotiation, threats, and mutual exploitation. The introduction of the Eldar's fall and the birth of Slaanesh added yet another dimension to the control of greater demons. The catastrophic collapse of the Eldar civilization unleashed a torrent of psychic energy into the warp, birthing Slaanesh and reshaping the Immaterium's balance of power. This event demonstrated the immense power of mortals to influence the warp, further emphasizing the necessity of controlling demons to harness this power effectively. Slaanesh, as the newest of the Chaos Gods, developed its own unique methods of control, using seduction and addiction to bind its creations more tightly than its counterparts. Ultimately, the mechanisms of control that govern greater demons are the product of both the warp's inherent nature and the evolving interactions between chaos and the material universe. The gods, their demons, and mortal agents all play interdependent roles in this system, ensuring that the vast power of the Immaterium is directed, however chaotically, toward the shared goal of dominion. The seeds of control were planted in the earliest days of the warp's formation, but the ever-changing nature of chaos ensures that the struggle to maintain order within its ranks is a perpetual and dynamic challenge. The history of chaos controlling its greater demons is marked by key events that shaped the methods, relationships, and intricacies of this dynamic. These stages reveal an evolving approach that reflects both the challenges of maintaining dominance over such beings and the adaptability of the Chaos Gods in refining their control mechanisms. The earliest phase of this development begins with the formation of the Chaos Gods themselves. As they emerged from the raw psychic energy of the warp, they quickly realized the need for powerful extensions of their will. These extensions were not mere constructs, but entities imbued with vast intelligence, ambition, and power. The initial creations were wild and uncontrollable, manifestations of raw energy that threatened to destabilize even the Chaos Gods' burgeoning realms. Over time, the gods refined their methods, introducing greater precision and specificity into the formation of their greater demons, ensuring that these beings were not only powerful, but also inherently aligned with their creator's principles. The next significant phase occurred as mortal life expanded and developed across the galaxy. The rise of intelligent civilizations brought with it a flood of psychic energy into the warp, intensifying the Chaos God's influence and enabling the creation of even more complex demonic entities. This era saw the first widespread interactions between mortals and greater demons. The gods experimented with allowing their creations limited agency, sending them into the material universe to sow discord and gather followers. This experimentation highlighted the necessity of controlling these entities, as their immense power often led to unintended consequences when they operated without clear direction. During the Age of Strife, the galaxy was engulfed in turmoil as warp storms isolated countless worlds, and rampant psychic activity destabilized many civilizations. This chaos provided fertile ground for the Chaos Gods to expand their influence. Greater demons played pivotal roles during this period, appearing as saviors, conquerors, or harbingers of destruction. However, their increased activity also required new methods of control as the gods began to realize the risks of overextending their creations. This period marked the development of binding pacts and psychic anchors, tools that allowed mortals to summon and control greater demons, while ensuring these entities remained tethered to their god's will. The Horus Heresy represents a defining moment in the history of chaos and its demons. The rebellion of Horus and the betrayal of many Space Marine legions created an unprecedented opportunity for the Chaos Gods to exert their power in the material realm. During this conflict, greater demons were unleashed on a scale never before seen, serving as generals and champions in the wars that engulfed the Imperium. The heresy revealed both the strengths and limitations of the Chaos Gods' control mechanisms. While the demons were devastatingly effective in combat, their ambition and thirst for destruction often led to conflicts with their mortal allies, creating friction within the ranks of chaos. In response to these challenges, the Chaos Gods refined their methods further. One significant development during this time was the creation of intricate rituals that not only summoned greater demons, but also constrained their power within specific parameters. These rituals, often conducted by mortal sorcerers, ensured that the demons' actions aligned with the gods' broader strategies. However, this reliance on mortal intermediaries also introduced vulnerabilities, as the ambitions of these summoners could sometimes disrupt the balance of control. Following the heresy, the millennia of the Long War brought about a period of relative stability in the relationship between chaos and its greater demons. This stability was not born of peace, but of a deeper understanding of the dynamics between the gods, their creations, and mortal agents. The Chaos Gods continued to refine their techniques, incorporating lessons learned from their previous failures. They introduced mechanisms such as periodic tests of loyalty for their demons, using challenges and rivalries to keep them sharp and focused. These measures ensured that even the most powerful greater demons remained dependent on their gods for survival and purpose. In more recent centuries, the rise of powerful mortal sorcerers and cults has further influenced the dynamics of control. Mortals have developed increasingly sophisticated methods of summoning and binding greater demons, often using them as tools to achieve their own goals. While this has expanded the reach of chaos in the material universe, it has also created new complexities, as the gods must balance the ambitions of their mortal followers with the need to maintain control over their demonic creations. The most recent and ongoing phase involves the ever-shifting nature of the warp itself. As the galaxy experiences new upheavals, such as the opening of the Great Rift and the spread of the Cicatrix Maledictum, the Chaos Gods and their greater demons face new challenges and opportunities. These changes have disrupted long-standing patterns of control, forcing the gods to adapt their strategies yet again. The warp's increased influence on the material universe has allowed greater demons to act with greater autonomy, but this freedom is always tempered by the gods' vigilance and the systems of control they have developed over eons. Through these stages, the control of greater demons has evolved into a sophisticated and dynamic process. Each phase reflects the constant tension between the boundless power of chaos and the need for order within its own ranks. This ongoing struggle not only defines the relationship between the gods and their creations, but also shapes the broader influence of chaos across the galaxy. The history of these developments underscores the paradoxical nature of chaos itself, a force of freedom and anarchy that nevertheless depends on hierarchy and control to achieve its goals. The pivotal moment in the control of Greater Daemons can be traced to the discovery and refinement of summoning rituals, a development that fundamentally altered the relationship between the Chaos Gods, their demons, and mortal agents. This breakthrough provided a reliable method for anchoring these immensely powerful entities in the material realm, while simultaneously introducing a mechanism to limit their autonomy. It was not a single event, but a gradual culmination of experimentation, adaptation, and necessity, driven by the need to harness the raw power of Greater Daemons without succumbing to the chaos they could unleash unchecked. The evolution of summoning rituals began as mortals first dabbled with the energies of the warp. Early attempts were crude and often catastrophic, resulting in uncontrolled demonic incursions that left devastation in their wake. However, as the understanding of warp energy deepened, particularly among the sorcerers and cults devoted to chaos, more sophisticated methods emerged. These rituals became the cornerstone of control, allowing mortal summoners to dictate the terms of a demon's manifestation and to impose constraints on its behavior. The Chaos Gods themselves observed these developments with interest, as they provided an avenue to amplify their influence in real space while mitigating the risks of unleashing their creations without restraint. One of the most significant turning points came during the Age of Strife, a time when the galaxy was rife with psychic upheaval. The widespread emergence of latent psychic abilities among mortals provided the fuel for unprecedented warp activity, and with it, new opportunities to refine summoning techniques. It was during this era that the Binding Circle, a construct of psychic energy and arcane symbols, was first perfected. This device allowed mortals to anchor Greater Daemons to a specific location and to control their actions through a combination of rituals, incantations, and offerings. The Binding Circle not only ensured the demons' compliance, but also protected the summoners from the immediate wrath of the entity they had called forth. The Horus Heresy marked another critical juncture. The scale of the conflict and the unprecedented involvement of chaos in mortal affairs necessitated a deeper collaboration between the gods, their demons, and their mortal servants. During this time, summoning rituals were refined to include more elaborate contingencies. For example, the incorporation of soul sacrifices, offering the essence of a mortal to bind a demon's will, became a common practice. These sacrifices created a direct link between the demon and its summoner, effectively chaining the entity to the mortal's command while reinforcing its connection to its patron god. A particularly notable incident during the heresy involved the summoning of Angrath, a terrifying bloodthirster of Khorne, by a mortal warlord seeking to decimate the forces of the Imperium. The warlord's ritual included a series of intricate safeguards, including the sacrifice of an entire city's population to strengthen the bindings. While the ritual successfully unleashed Angrath on the battlefield, it also demonstrated the precarious balance required to control such an entity. The bloodthirster, though bound, constantly tested the limits of its constraints, forcing the summoner to pour every ounce of his will into maintaining control. The eventual failure of the binding led to catastrophic consequences, but the lessons learned from this event informed future summoning practices. The aftermath of the heresy and the onset of the Long War further solidified the importance of these rituals. As chaos forces spread across the galaxy, they encountered increasingly sophisticated resistance from the Imperium and other factions. This forced the Chaos Gods to innovate, pushing their mortal followers to develop even more advanced methods of control. One such innovation was the creation of soul anchors, artifacts imbued with warp energy that served as focal points for demonic bindings. These anchors allowed Greater Daemons to be summoned with greater precision and reliability, even across vast distances. Despite these advancements, the inherent volatility of chaos meant that no system was ever foolproof. The gods themselves played a critical role in maintaining order, using their omnipresence within the warp to monitor and correct the actions of their demons. When a greater demon strayed too far from its intended purpose or threatened to upset the balance of power within the warp, the gods would intervene, often by reshaping or reabsorbing the errant entity back into their essence. This ultimate authority served as a final safeguard, ensuring that no demon, no matter how powerful, could act entirely beyond the control of its creator. Another decisive moment came with the rise of demon princes, individuals who ascended from mortal origins to become part of the warp's hierarchy. These beings introduced a new layer of control, as their mortal experiences provided them with unique insights into the needs and vulnerabilities of mortal followers. Demon princes often acted as intermediaries, overseeing the actions of greater demons and ensuring their compliance with the broader strategies of the Chaos Gods. This dynamic added a level of sophistication to Chaos's operations, blending the raw power of the warp with the cunning and ambition of mortal ingenuity. The culmination of these developments is evident in the modern era of the 41st millennium. The opening of the Great Rift and the subsequent increase in warp activity have amplified the importance of these rituals and control mechanisms. Greater demons are now summoned with a precision that would have been unimaginable in earlier epochs, and their actions are more closely aligned with the strategic goals of their gods. Yet even in this age of refinement, the fundamental tension between Chaos's boundless freedom and the necessity of control remains. Every summoning, every binding, and every act of control is a precarious balance, a dance on the knife's edge between power and catastrophe. This turning point in the evolution of summoning and binding rituals underscores the intricate and adaptive nature of chaos. It is not a static force, but one that evolves in response to the challenges and opportunities of an ever-changing galaxy. The methods used to control greater demons are a testament to the cunning and resourcefulness of both the Chaos Gods and their mortal agents, illustrating the lengths to which they will go to harness the raw power of the immaterium without being consumed by it. The influence of Chaos's control over its greater demons extends far beyond individual battles or isolated events. It ripples across the galaxy, reshaping the destinies of worlds, altering the trajectory of wars, and leaving indelible scars on both the material realm and the immaterium. These effects are multifaceted, touching every aspect of existence where chaos seeks to exert its will. On a galactic scale, the ability to control and deploy greater demons enables chaos to act as a persistent and destabilizing force. The presence of these entities in major conflicts often turns the tide of battles that might otherwise favor the defenders of order. A greater demon's arrival on a battlefield does not merely bring raw destructive power, it spreads despair, disrupts coordinated resistance, and often forces mortal opponents into desperation. This psychological impact is as devastating as the physical destruction they bring, creating an aura of inevitability that can shatter even the most disciplined armies. For the mortal inhabitants of the galaxy, the control and summoning of greater demons represent existential threats that loom over their civilizations. Entire planetary systems can be brought to their knees by the manifestation of a single demon as its presence warps reality itself. Crops wither, seas boil, and the skies darken with unnatural storms as the influence of the warp seeps into the material plane. These effects, while seemingly chaotic, are often meticulously orchestrated by the Chaos Gods and their mortal agents. By binding and controlling their demons, chaos can weaponize these phenomena, turning the fabric of reality into a tool of conquest and annihilation. The direct impact on Imperial worlds is particularly severe. Imperial planets that fall under Chaos's sway often descend into madness, their populations either consumed by demonic forces or turned into fervent cultists. The The control mechanisms that allow Greater Daemons to be summoned and directed ensure that these incursions are not random, but targeted strikes against the Imperium's infrastructure and morale. Hive cities, fortress worlds, and industrial centers are frequent targets, their destruction dealing crippling blows to the Imperium's ability to sustain its vast war efforts. The psychological toll on the surviving populations cannot be overstated. The mere knowledge that demonic forces can breach the Emperor's light plunges many into despair or heresy. The Eldar, whose psychic nature makes them particularly vulnerable to the predations of the warp, also suffer profoundly from the influence of controlled Greater Daemons. Craft worlds and Exodite worlds, though fortified against demonic incursions, are not immune to the manipulations of chaos. The ability to direct Greater Daemons with precision allows the Chaos Gods to exploit weaknesses in the Eldar's defenses, striking at critical moments to sow division or destroy key assets. The demon's presence is a stark reminder of the Eldar's tragic role in the creation of the warp's most dangerous entities, and their impact reverberates through the remnants of this ancient race. The dynamic between chaos and its mortal followers also shapes the larger conflict. The promise of summoning and controlling a greater demon is one of the most alluring tools chaos uses to seduce mortals into its service. Cult leaders, warlords, and sorcerers often rise to prominence by demonstrating their ability to bind these entities, their reputations cemented by the fear and awe such acts inspire. These individuals, empowered by their connection to the warp, spread chaos's influence across the galaxy, bringing new systems into the fold. The presence of a greater demon, controlled and directed, becomes a rallying symbol for cults and war bands, solidifying their unity and resolve in service to their dark masters. The material universe itself is not the only domain affected by these demons. Their influence extends back into the warp, where their actions shape the power dynamics within chaos. Controlled greater demons often serve as instruments of the gods' will in the immaterium, enforcing their dominance over rival factions and expanding their influence. These demons act as enforcers, diplomats, or even symbols of power, carrying out their master's orders with brutal efficiency. Their success or failure in the material realm reverberates within the warp, shifting the balance of power among the gods and their followers. Perhaps most significantly, the control of greater demons has a profound impact on the delicate balance between the warp and real space. Every summoning, every act of binding, creates a moment of connection between these two realms. These connections, while temporary, often leave lasting scars on the material universe. Regions of space that have seen repeated demonic activity become tainted, their environments twisted into grotesque parodies of natural life. These warp-tainted zones, known as demon worlds or chaos-infested systems, become breeding grounds for further incursions, perpetuating a cycle of destruction and corruption. The Imperium's response to these events illustrates another layer of impact. The deployment of greater demons forces the Imperium to divert significant resources to counteract these threats. Massive military campaigns are launched to reclaim tainted worlds or destroy demonic manifestations, stretching the already overburdened resources of the Imperium to their limits. This constant state of vigilance weakens the Imperium's ability to respond to other threats, allowing chaos to exploit vulnerabilities elsewhere. Even when a greater demon is defeated, the cost of victory is often so high that the affected region remains weakened for centuries, a shadow of its former strength. In the larger context of the galaxy, the controlled deployment of greater demons is both a symptom and a driver of chaos's insidious influence. It reflects the gods' ability to manipulate the immaterium and the material realm to their advantage, while also demonstrating the fragility of the systems that seek to resist them. The effects are felt not just in the immediate aftermath of a demonic incursion, but in the long-term erosion of stability and order across the galaxy. This enduring impact underscores the complexity of chaos's strategies and the devastating consequences of its reach. The methods and mechanisms by which chaos controls its greater demons are as unique and paradoxical as the nature of chaos itself. These methods draw upon the interplay of cosmic forces, metaphysical constructs, and the intrinsic characteristics of the demons and their gods. Each aspect of this control highlights the profound complexity of chaos, a force that thrives on freedom yet operates with precision when it comes to bending its most powerful servants to its will. One of the most distinct aspects of this dynamic is the intrinsic connection between a chaos god and its greater demons. Unlike mortal relationships of loyalty or fealty, this bond is not transactional but fundamental. A greater demon is not merely a servant but an emanation of the god's essence, shaped from the raw energy of the warp. This makes rebellion or defiance almost impossible on a fundamental level, as the demon's very existence depends on its alignment with its creator's nature. This inherent dependency allows chaos to wield immense power without the same level of risk associated with external agents or mercenaries. The immaterial nature of greater demons introduces another layer of uniqueness. Unlike mortal entities, demons do not exist within the confines of physical reality. They are pure warp energy given form. This fluidity allows the Chaos Gods to reshape or reabsorb their creations at will, an act of ultimate control. A demon that fails or strays too far from its intended purpose can be unmade or transformed, its essence returned to the god for repurposing. This constant threat of annihilation ensures compliance, as even the most ambitious demon understands that its existence is entirely at the mercy of its creator. The process of summoning and binding demons also stands out as a unique aspect of their control. Summoning rituals are intricate and multifaceted, requiring a deep understanding of the warp's currents and the specific nature of the demon being called forth. These rituals often involve symbolic acts, such as offerings or invocations that resonate with the demon's essence. For example, a bloodthirster of Khorne might require the sacrifice of hundreds of warriors in combat, while a keeper of secrets might demand an elaborate feast of sensory excess. These acts not only anchor the demon in real space, but also serve as a means of reinforcing its alignment with its god's will, ensuring that it acts in accordance with its intended purpose. Another striking feature is the role of language and symbols in controlling demons. The spoken and written word, when imbued with warp energy, carries immense power in the immaterium. Specific incantations, runes, and sigils are used to compel obedience and restrain the demon's destructive tendencies. These symbols are not arbitrary, but resonate with the very essence of the demon, creating a metaphysical leash that binds it to its summoner's commands. This use of language and symbols highlights the deeply ritualistic nature of chaos, where the abstract and the tangible converge to produce tangible effects. The hierarchical structure within chaos also plays a critical role in maintaining control. While greater demons are among the most powerful entities within the warp, they are not without rivals. The constant competition among demons, both within a god's domain and across the realms of different gods, ensures that no single entity can consolidate too much power. This internal rivalry is not a flaw, but a deliberate feature of chaos, fostering a state of perpetual tension that keeps its servants sharp and focused. The gods themselves encourage this competition, using it as a tool to weed out weakness and ensure that only the most capable demons rise to positions of prominence. One particularly unique method of control involves the concept of mutual benefit. While greater demons are inherently tied to their gods, they are also driven by their own ambitions and desires. By aligning these desires with the gods' overarching goals, chaos creates a system of incentives that encourages demons to act in ways that benefit their creators. For instance, a demon that successfully spreads its god's influence might be rewarded with greater autonomy, additional power, or a more prominent role within the warp's hierarchy. This system of rewards and punishments adds a layer of complexity to the relationship, blending coercion with collaboration. The use of mortal intermediaries introduces another unique dynamic. Mortals, despite their fragility, are crucial to the process of summoning and directing greater demons. These individuals act as bridges between the material and immaterial realms, using their knowledge of the warp to channel its energies and bind demons to their will. In many cases, the mortal's ambition mirrors that of the demon, creating a temporary alignment of interests. However, this relationship is always fraught with danger, as the demon's overwhelming power and inherent disdain for mortals make it a volatile and unpredictable ally. The interplay between mortal summoners and demons is a microcosm of chaos itself, where cooperation and conflict exist in constant tension. The influence of time within the warp further complicates and enhances the methods of control. Time in the immaterium does not flow linearly, allowing the chaos gods to manipulate events in ways that defy mortal understanding. A greater demon might be bound to a task that spans centuries in the material realm, but perceives it as a fleeting moment within the warp. Conversely, a brief encounter in real space might feel like an eternity to the demon, creating a sense of urgency that drives it to fulfill its purpose as efficiently as possible. Finally, the inherent unpredictability of chaos itself serves as a form of control. The warp's ever-changing nature ensures that no entity, not even a greater demon, can fully predict or manipulate its currents. This unpredictability acts as a natural check on ambition, forcing demons to operate within the parameters set by their gods and summoners. While this chaos might seem like a liability, it is in fact one of chaos's greatest strengths, creating an environment where adaptability and ingenuity are essential for survival. These unique aspects illustrate the multifaceted and paradoxical nature of chaos's control over its greater demons. The interplay of power, dependency, and unpredictability creates a system that is both chaotic and remarkably effective, reflecting the essence of chaos itself. Through these mechanisms, the gods ensure that their most powerful servants remain instruments of their will, bound to the endless schemes and ambitions that define the immaterium. Within the sprawling narrative of chaos and its greater demons, several individuals, both mortal and immortal, stand out as pivotal figures in shaping the ways in which these entities are controlled and directed. These personalities are not mere players, but architects and symbols of the dynamic that governs the relationship between chaos and its most powerful servants. Among the most renowned greater demons is Skarbrand, the Exiled One. Once a favored bloodthirster of Khorne, Skarbrand's fall from grace illustrates the fragility of loyalty even within chaos. Consumed by his own ambition and provoked by Tzeentch's manipulations, Skarbrand dared to strike at Khorne himself. This act of defiance was met with immediate and devastating consequences. Khorne banished him, casting him from the brass citadel with such force that his wings were scorched and torn. Despite his disgrace, Skarbrand remains an instrument of destruction, his exile only fueling his insatiable rage. His story serves as a cautionary tale to other greater demons, demonstrating the absolute authority of the Chaos Gods and the dire consequences of overreaching ambition. From the realm of Tzeentch comes Kairos Fateweaver, the Oracle of Eternity. This Lord of Change is unique even among Tzeentch's labyrinthine servants. Thrown into the well of eternity by Tzeentch himself, Kairos emerged with unparalleled knowledge of past, present, and future, albeit at the cost of his sanity. His dual heads embody the contradictory nature of chaos, with one always speaking truth and the other lies. Despite his immense power and foresight, Kairos remains bound by Tzeentch's will, unable to escape the endless schemes of his master. His existence highlights the paradox of freedom within chaos. Even the most cunning and knowledgeable demons are ultimately tools in the greater games of their gods. The Great Unclean One, Ku'gath Plaguefather, embodies the unique dynamics of Nurgle's domain. Unlike most greater demons, Ku'gath is a figure of curiosity and experimentation, driven by an insatiable desire to perfect Nurgle's plagues. Ku'gath's loyalty to Nurgle is absolute, not because of fear or coercion, but because his purpose aligns so completely with his creator's nature. His obsession with spreading disease and crafting new plagues makes him one of Nurgle's most effective agents, a stark reminder of how intrinsic purpose can bind a demon to its god. In the domain of Slaanesh, the keeper of secrets known as Shalaxi Hellbane stands as a unique enforcer of Slaanesh's will. Unlike other keepers of secrets, Shalaxi's purpose is not to tempt or seduce, but to hunt and slay those who defy Slaanesh. This role as a specialized assassin underscores the adaptability of chaos in shaping its servants to meet specific needs. Shalaxi's existence demonstrates how even within the hedonistic realm of Slaanesh, discipline and precision can be wielded as tools of control. Among mortals, there are those who have played significant roles in summoning and binding greater demons, often at great personal cost. Ezekiel Abaddon, War Master of Chaos, has leveraged the power of greater demons numerous times in his campaigns. Abaddon's mastery over these entities lies not only in his strength and cunning, but in his ability to balance the delicate relationship between mortal will and demonic power. Unlike many who fall prey to the demons they summon, Abaddon has consistently maintained his dominance, using the demons as tools rather than becoming their puppet. Another key figure is Ahriman, the exiled sorcerer of the Thousand Suns. Ahriman's deep understanding of the warp and his mastery of sorcery have allowed him to summon and manipulate greater demons with an unparalleled degree of control. His quest for knowledge and power often leads him to dangerous bargains with these entities, yet his intellect and ruthlessness ensure that he remains the master in these exchanges. Ahriman's story illustrates the razor-thin line mortal sorcerers walk when dealing with the denizens of the warp. From the perspective of mortal cults, individuals like Cardin Fel, the high priest of the Scarlet Maw, have left their mark on the history of demonology. Cardin orchestrated one of the largest demonic invasions of a hive world, successfully binding a greater demon of Khorne to his service for years. His methods involved elaborate rituals, mass sacrifices, and the construction of warp gates, showcasing the lengths to which mortals will go to harness the power of these entities. Cardun's eventual downfall, betrayed and consumed by the very demon he controlled, serves as a grim reminder of the dangers inherent in such dealings. Within the Imperium, certain Inquisitors have also played critical roles in countering and, at times, exploiting greater demons. Inquisitor Chivak, known for his unorthodox methods and deep knowledge of chaos, once infiltrated the Black Library and emerged with insights into the nature of the warp. While his interactions with demons are veiled in secrecy, his ability to outwit and manipulate them speaks to the unique position of the Inquisition as both adversaries and reluctant users of Chaos's power. Finally, the Chaos Gods themselves must be considered as active participants in this dynamic. Their manipulation of their demonic creations is as much a part of their identity as their interactions with the material realm. The rivalry between the gods, Khorne's disdain for Tzeentch's schemes, Nurgle's contempt for Slaanesh's decadence, ensures that their demons are constantly embroiled in conflicts that prevent any one entity from gaining too much independence. This interplay between gods and demons creates a web of control that is both intricate and self-sustaining. The individuals and entities connected to the control of greater demons are as varied as the warp itself, each playing a unique role in this ever-shifting narrative. From the demons' own stories of ambition and downfall to the mortals who dare to summon them, the cast of characters reflects the multifaceted nature of chaos and its intricate mechanisms of dominance. The control of greater demons by chaos raises profound and enigmatic questions that remain shrouded in mystery, even among those who study the warp's workings. These unanswered questions and speculative theories reflect the complexity of chaos itself, a force that defies mortal comprehension and operates on principles that are ever-shifting and contradictory. One of the most enduring mysteries concerns the nature of autonomy within greater demons. While it is clear that these entities are bound to the will of their gods, their actions often suggest a level of independence that goes beyond simple servitude. Are these moments of apparent autonomy genuine, or are they part of a deeper manipulation by the Chaos Gods? Some theorists argue that the gods deliberately grant their demons a degree of freedom to test their loyalty and adaptability, while others suggest that this autonomy is a byproduct of the daemons' immense power, which even their creators struggle to fully contain. Another unresolved question revolves around the intrinsic link between a demon's essence and its chaos god. The prevailing understanding is that greater demons are extensions of their gods, yet this connection remains poorly understood. What happens to a greater demon when its god's influence wanes or is challenged? Historical records suggest that certain demons have diminished in power or disappeared entirely during periods when their god's dominion was weakened. Does this imply that their existence is entirely contingent on their patron's strength, or could they persist independently under specific conditions? The role of mortal agency in controlling greater demons is another area of intrigue. While summoning rituals and binding spells are well documented, the exact mechanisms by which mortals exert control over such powerful entities remain contentious. Some scholars speculate that mortal willpower and psychic resonance play a critical role, creating a temporary alignment between the summoner and the demon. Others posit that the rituals themselves act as a form of metaphysical leverage, forcing the demon into compliance through symbolic acts that resonate with the warp's primal forces. Yet, even with these theories, the precise nature of this control is elusive, as many summoners fall victim to the very entities they seek to command. One of the most perplexing phenomena associated with greater demons is their apparent ability to reincarnate after being banished or destroyed. When a demon is defeated in the material realm, its essence is said to return to the warp, where it eventually reforms. This cycle of destruction and rebirth raises several questions. What governs the speed and nature of a demon's reformation? Are the Chaos Gods actively involved in this process, or is it an intrinsic property of the warp itself? Furthermore, could a demon's essence be permanently destroyed under specific circumstances, or is their existence truly eternal? The existence of rogue demons also fuels speculation. While most greater demons remain loyal to their gods, there are rare accounts of demons acting against their creator's will. Are these acts of rebellion genuine, or do they serve a hidden purpose orchestrated by the gods themselves? Some theorists suggest that such incidents might be tests or punishments designed to teach the demons humility or to gauge the strength of mortal opposition. Others argue that these rogue demons represent a fundamental flaw in the Chaos Gods' control mechanisms, a reminder that even the most powerful entities are not immune to the warp's inherent unpredictability. The role of rivalries among the Chaos Gods in shaping their control over greater demons is another unresolved issue. The gods' eternal competition for dominance often manifests in their demons, who are used as pawns in this cosmic struggle. However, the extent to which these rivalries influence the demons' behavior remains unclear. Are the demons compelled to enact their gods' rivalries, or do they participate willingly, driven by their own ambitions? This question touches on the broader issue of how much agency greater demons truly possess within the chaotic hierarchy of the warp. There is also the question of whether the Chaos Gods deliberately limit their control over their demons to avoid stagnation. Chaos thrives on conflict and change, and a system of absolute control might paradoxically undermine the very nature of the gods. By allowing their demons a degree of unpredictability, the gods may be fostering the kind of instability that ensures their continued growth and relevance. This theory suggests that the perceived flaws in their control mechanisms are not weaknesses, but deliberate features designed to maintain the balance between order and anarchy within chaos. The intersection of technology and chaos further complicates the picture. There are accounts of mortal factions attempting to use advanced machinery or artificial intelligence to enhance their control over demons, often with disastrous results. This raises questions about whether technology can ever truly interface with the warp, or if such attempts are doomed to failure because they lack the organic, emotional resonance required to manipulate chaos. Could there exist some yet unknown method of combining technological precision with warp manipulation to create a more effective means of controlling greater demons? Finally, there are profound metaphysical questions about the nature of the warp itself and its relationship to the demons it spawns. If the warp is a reflection of mortal emotions and thoughts, does this mean that the demon's actions are, in some sense, influenced by the collective subconscious of sentient beings? If so, could mortals inadvertently shape the behavior of greater demons through their collective beliefs, fears, and desires? This theory suggests that the control of demons is not solely in the hands of the gods or their mortal servants, but is influenced by the broader psychic landscape of the galaxy. These unresolved questions and speculative theories highlight the profound mysteries surrounding chaos and its greater demons. They reflect the inherent complexity and unpredictability of the warp, a realm where even the most carefully constructed systems of control are subject to the whims of infinite possibility. For those who seek to understand or manipulate these forces, the journey is fraught with peril, as every answer seems to raise new questions, drawing them deeper into the enigmatic heart of chaos. The long-term consequences of how chaos controls its greater demons are profound and far-reaching, shaping not only the immediate fates of individuals and civilizations, but also the underlying fabric of the galaxy itself. These effects ripple across time and space, influencing events and outcomes in ways that often remain hidden until their impact becomes undeniable. One of the most significant long-term effects is the perpetual destabilization of the galaxy. By maintaining control over its greater demons, chaos ensures that its influence is both sustained and unpredictable. These entities act as harbingers of destruction, catalysts for rebellion, and symbols of chaos's power. Their presence disrupts the delicate balance of power, preventing any single faction or ideology from achieving lasting dominance. This constant state of upheaval feeds directly into the essence of chaos, ensuring that conflict, transformation, and instability remain central to the galaxy's narrative. The presence and actions of greater demons also leave a lasting imprint on the physical and metaphysical realms. Every manifestation of these entities in real space creates scars that endure long after they are banished or defeated. Worlds touched by demonic incursions often become permanently tainted, their ecosystems altered and their inhabitants driven to madness or heresy. These corrupted planets serve as footholds for future invasions, spreading chaos's influence like a contagion. Even regions of space untouched by direct incursions are affected, as the fear and uncertainty generated by chaos's presence ripple through the collective consciousness of the galaxy's inhabitants. In the immaterium, the control of greater demons reinforces the dominance of the chaos gods and their respective ideologies. Each act of destruction, corruption, or conquest carried out by these entities strengthens the gods, allowing them to expand their influence within the warp. This cyclical relationship ensures that chaos remains a self-perpetuating force. The gods create and control their demons, who in turn enact the gods' will, feeding the power of chaos and ensuring its continued relevance. This dynamic guarantees that the gods and their creations remain intertwined with the fate of the galaxy, no matter how vehemently they are opposed. The long-term psychological effects on mortals cannot be overstated. The knowledge that such beings exist, that they can be summoned and controlled, and that they operate with near-absolute power over those who encounter them, creates an atmosphere of existential dread. This fear serves chaos well, as it erodes trust in the stability of institutions like the Imperium and fosters the desperation that drives individuals and groups to seek solace in chaos. The demons, by their very existence, become instruments of psychological warfare, undermining the morale and unity of their enemies. Another enduring consequence lies in the evolution of mortal societies. The presence of chaos and its demonic servants forces factions to adapt and innovate in their attempts to resist or exploit these forces. For the Imperium, this has led to the proliferation of organizations like the Inquisition and the Grey Knights, whose entire purpose is to combat demonic threats. These groups, in turn, influence the development of imperial doctrine, policy, and military strategy. The necessity of countering greater demons shapes the Imperium's priorities, diverting resources and focus away from other challenges and fostering a culture of paranoia and suspicion. For those who align with chaos, the control of greater demons offers both opportunity and peril. Cults and warbands that successfully summon and direct these entities often rise to prominence, their actions leaving a lasting mark on the galaxy. However, the inherent risks of dealing with demons ensure that such power is fleeting. Mortals who attempt to manipulate chaos inevitably succumb to its corrupting influence, their fates serving as cautionary tales that perpetuate chaos's narrative of inevitable decay and transformation. The ecological and cosmological consequences of demonic incursions are also worth considering. The frequent manipulation of the warp to summon and control demons weakens the boundaries between real space and the immaterium, creating rifts and warp storms that destabilize entire sectors. These phenomena can isolate planets, disrupt trade routes, and render regions of space virtually uninhabitable. Over time, these effects contribute to the fragmentation and decline of civilizations, a trend that aligns perfectly with chaos's overarching goals. On a broader scale, the control of greater demons underscores the fragile nature of order in the galaxy. It serves as a constant reminder that no matter how powerful or advanced a civilization becomes, it remains vulnerable to the forces of chaos. This vulnerability is not limited to material destruction, but extends to the very ideals and values that underpin these societies. By infiltrating and corrupting institutions, chaos erodes the foundations of stability, ensuring that its influence remains a constant and pervasive threat. Finally, the role of greater demons in the larger cosmic struggle between chaos and the material universe highlights their significance as agents of transformation. These entities are not merely instruments of destruction, but catalysts for change. Their actions force the galaxy's factions to confront their limitations, adapt to new challenges, and redefine their goals. In this way, chaos achieves its ultimate purpose, the perpetuation of a universe defined by endless conflict, growth, and evolution. In the grand scheme, the long-term consequences of how chaos controls its greater demons are not limited to the immediate outcomes of battles or campaigns. They extend to the very structure of reality, shaping the galaxy's history, its present, and its future. This interplay of control, destruction, and influence ensures that chaos remains an indelible and inescapable part of the universe, its shadow looming over all who strive to oppose it.